whatever comes up in your life, you're going to handle it. Good, bad, indifferent. Make sure that you don't let fear hold you back. Get that dissatisfaction up, get the vision up, add to it the first steps, and you'll overcome that resistance. Now let me show you a little bit more detail where resistance comes from, or where fear really comes from. Let's take a look. Call this the identity iceberg. Like an iceberg, see, here you have an iceberg. It's 90% below water and 10% above water. It's kind of like the Titanic. It wasn't the ice above the water that sunk the boat. It was the ice below the water that sunk the boat. It's kind of like most people. It's not what's above the waterline that's sinking them. It's what's below that waterline that's sinking them. You know, and it just blows me away every time that people make change at such a surface level. That little 10% above the waterline they try and change, and wonder why it doesn't last very long. This is where resistance comes from, my friends. This big below the waterline. By the way, while I mentioned that Titanic, did it annoy anyone else going to see a movie where you knew the outcome? You know, here you go see a movie, you know the end. The boat sinks. My wife took me to that movie so many times. She loved the movie. I cried a lot in that movie. When that woman threw that diamond off the back of that boat, it brought me to tears. Absolutely crazy. Back to the story though, back to the main point. The identity iceberg. Above the waterline, here's what we're going to look at. Your behavior. Okay? Your actions and your decisions are reflected in that behavior point. So that's what you see of people. See, when you go and meet other people, that's what they see of you. And they could be seeing you through their rose-colored glasses. They could have an opinion about you or a way you operate. They could have an opinion about the job that you have that determines the way they experience you. They could have an opinion about where you come from that's the way they experience you. But that's your behavior. The challenge with making change is if you only try and make change at that level, it's going to be very short-term change. So what we do is we try and move down the level. We move down below this waterline. Here's where your skills come into it. These skill set, what you're good at. See, let me give you an example. Let's say you're a good cook. What are you going to do if you want to have people over? You're going to cook for them. If you're not a good cook, what are you going to do? You're not going to cook for them. You're going to have barbecue, or you're going to get takeout, or you're going to, your reservations at the local restaurant. See, the point is what you are good at, you will do more of. And the more you do of it, guess what? The better you get at it. You know, it's one of these self-fulfilling prophecies, and that's why we go to this next level. Your beliefs. How your beliefs impact your skills and your behaviors. So let's use another example from life. Mathematics. See, think of it. When you're a kid, were you taught you were good at math, or were you taught you were bad at math when you were a kid? See, that opinion that a teacher or a parent said to you, you know what, you're good at math, immediately went in your head. I'm good at math. Boom. You think, I'm good at math. You go and study harder at math. You do more math work. You get better at math. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Teacher tells you when you're 7, you're no good at math. How the heck are they going to know if you're good at math at 7 or not, for goodness sake? Your brain hasn't even finished full development. There's no way to tell whether you're going to be good at math at 7 or not. Same as spelling, same as. But you take that on to be true. That's your belief. And a belief, by my definition, is something you hold to be true. Doesn't mean it's true, it's just something you hold to be true. Here you are, you believe at 7 you're no good at math. Do you worry about studying math? Do you worry about reading math? Do you even try in math class? No. So do you get good at it? No, you never get good at it. And it's as simple as that. We get to that belief level. So if we're going to make long-term change, do you think we need to change at our belief level? Absolutely. In fact, we need to go a few levels below that. Values is your next level below. As we move down, your values determine your beliefs. What sort of values you hold will determine what you believe in, what your skill set is, and ultimately what your behavior is. So you've got to look at what values are important to you. For example, let's say you're a salesperson, and one of the things you value in life is acceptance by others. How are you going to do with sales? You're not going to do very good at it. Why? Because you want acceptance all the time. You're not going to ask for the sale in case they said no. You're not going to go and cold call on prospects in case they say, I don't like you. You know, and you're going to have all these things. So you've got to look at some of those values as to what's important to you and how that's impacting right up through that iceberg. Next level below that, we got to get down to the base of this iceberg. It's called your identity iceberg. What is your identity? 2 most powerful words when used together in the English language. The words I am. Tiny words. But the most powerful words you can utter, I am. You know, everything you say after that defines your identity. I am a parent. I am great at business. I am an entrepreneur. I am a carpenter. I am an accountant. These identities that we put with ourselves. I am poor. I am rich. You know, I am successful. I am unsuccessful. You know, I'm a failure. I'm successful. All of these I am statements that you play out with yourself. And see, I put it to you very simply. It's what you say to yourself about yourself when you're by yourself that matters the most. Let me say that again. What you say to yourself about yourself when you're by yourself that matters the most. These I am statements. I remember one time after a seminar, I had a lady come up to me and she said, you know, Brad, I'm just a housewife. How can I do all this stuff? Don't even say those words. I am just. How can you use far more empowering language about yourself? Those I am statements. Give you some homework to do from this. Go and write 20 I am statements that are empowering about yourself. And read them out to yourself every single morning, every evening. Just do that stuff. Focus on it. I'll get to more on that in a little while. So then around the base of this iceberg, let's take a look at it. There's water around an iceberg. Same as you, there's an environment. The environment you put yourself in is going to determine a lot of whether you're successful or not. The people you hang out with, the books you read, the TV programs you watch, the environment you put yourself in day to day. Do you go and put yourself in a smoky bar every evening? Do you go and have a couple of beers and take a couple of cigarettes? What is that environment doing to your identity? Versus putting yourself in an environment that is a learning, growing, prosperous environment. What environment you put yourself in will determine a lot of how you give yourself an identity, a lot of your values, a lot of your beliefs, a lot of your skills, and ultimately your behaviors. And those behaviors will determine ultimately your success. You know, the actions and decisions you make come from that very base level environment. So what do you need to change about your environment to move yourself forward in that next stage?